I'm not really sure what compelled me to write that message, but I feel a strong urge to expose myself.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. Um, so what has been really alive for me lately is this experience of possessiveness coming up.
Mm.
And um, my question is, I listened to a discourse where um, you were referencing the Buddha who sat for 40 days and 40 nights and through the appearance of heaven and hell chose to not touch any of it and just remain. And so in watching the possessiveness arise, there has been such a strong call to share this with my partner, my romantic partner.
Mm.
And the response that I have received is, what does this have to do with me? This is coming from my partner.
Yeah, yeah.
And I observed such a strong contraction in my whole being
Mm.
because I think there was an underlying intention of just bringing the possessiveness to the table, exposing it for what it is,
Mm.
laying it all out there.
Mm.
Um, and in reflecting on my partner's response of what does this have to do with me, this is something for you to go into. Um, there's been a bit of confusion around the process of sitting and enduring and just keeping quiet
Mm.
as a form of burning
Mm.
everything that is not true
Mm.
versus when that becomes a form of suppression.
Mm. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I really hear that. Mm. 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 If we were in a one-to-one session and there weren't other people listening, I would ask a lot more questions and go in deeper to what's happening with you. But because it's just not appropriate, I've realized over time to expose people like that over the internet. I just have to cut your volume on while I'm speaking because it's echoing. I'm not sure if you've got headset in or not, but I just cut your volume, and then when I'm pausing, I'll put your volume back on so we can hear you. Okay.
Sure.
Um, yeah, so I would go in deeper to your relationship, how you feel, what's coming up for you, because that could be like complex psychological dynamics going on. There might be something deeper than possessiveness. But I've realized over time that it's not so appropriate to do that with people on the internet, and it can cause a bit of vulnerability, hangover, and like trauma from exposing yourself like that. So I just will keep it light, like, and not ask you too many questions and not go into it. But I always recommend, if you've got the money and if you've got the availability, to book a one-to-one session with somebody that's into non-duality and psychology, and to go in deeper with that into that subject with somebody. It's so helpful to have an outside perspective on these things. Yeah, and that's not an advertisement of myself there. I don't currently offer sessions to people. I do a few sessions behind the scenes, but I no longer advertise or offer sessions. I just really feel that's a great way to see if there's anything hiding. There could be many things hiding in that. There can be relationships that have happened in childhood. There can be behaviors that your partner's doing. And it's not that they need to stop doing that or that you need to do anything. It's just recognizing the dynamic holistically. Like you say, not just sitting in it. And when it becomes like a suppressing or an avoidance, like having somebody that's probing and asking questions and looking deeper with you. Yeah, so there could be many things that's bringing up that possessiveness. Insecurities, dynamics, past, thought processes, feeling not good enough. There could be a lot that's happening. And when that happens, different areas of your body light up. So if you feel insecure, then it's often the heart chakra. If you're feeling like they're like being inappropriate and not being trustworthy, then that tends to come from a lower chakra. There's all different. So we have these chakras in our body that inform us of what we're feeling and thinking. They're great ways to discover what it is that we feel and think in the moment. But the question that's most important, and which I'm more happy to explore with you live on YouTube, is who is it that feels possessive? So there is possessiveness arising, and the mind says, I am possessive. And then it has an image of you. I think it's Pippa, your name. Let me just have a look. Yeah, Pippa, as being possessive. And then there has a feeling that goes along with that possessiveness as well. And then there has stories like, I'm bad, I'm wrong, I shouldn't. They're bad, they're wrong, they shouldn't. I need to do this, I need to meditate, I need to feel it. I need to go into it, I need to surpass it. I need to transform it, transcend it. I shouldn't be feeling like that. Spiritual people shouldn't be feeling like that. And that becomes part of an identity. The possessiveness is not necessarily identity. And the reason that I say that is through my own exploration and also through watching animals. To me, animals do not suffer because they don't have a sense of self. They don't have the ability to wake up to themselves because they never lose themselves. So there's an element in which they can't like wake up to themselves, but they don't ever identify. So there is a freedom there already. And my dog, she is very possessive of me, and she's very possessive of space and chicken. And that's really natural. That's part of her DNA. She's a feral dog from Thailand. She's a Southeast Asian village dog, which are known for their possessivity because they've had to fight other dogs for many generations in order to win the scraps and the areas that are left over by humans. So village dogs live on the outsides of society and eat scraps and leftovers. Yeah. And so of course she's going to be possessive. It's not just social. It's not an idea. There's a natural instinctive feeling that arises of like, mine. And I can have that as well. I have a partner, and it can actually also feel quite nice. But I remember we maybe I shouldn't go too much into my personal life. Okay, forget that. But you know, I feel possessive with my partner at times. Not so much because we don't socialize so much, but I know certainly when I run retreats, like he can get a lot of attention from the females, and there could be an element of me like, I really shouldn't be talking about this. Okay, forget it. I'm going to upset people. But yeah, possessiveness is part of being alive in these bodies. Look at nature, like it's competing against itself in order to survive constantly. Every form is competing in some way in order to survive. So who is it the possessiveness belongs to? And the freedom isn't actually in the end of the possessiveness. That is again a thought, like I am going to become enlightened. Like there is a you that is going to overcome possessiveness. The actual freedom is the recognition, which is an energetical experience. It's not a mental experience. It's an energetical realization that is not who you are, and it's an expansion back to who you are. And then the possessiveness becomes a dynamic that's happening through the body, but it's not yours. You are not possessive. Possessiveness happens, and that is a huge difference. So who is it that owns the possessiveness? Who is it that wants to get rid of the possessiveness? Who is it that wants recognition from the partner? I'm not saying that you don't attempt to do that. Like, I'm not saying that's necessarily suffering. I'm just asking, who are you? Who are you? I'll just unmute you now, so yeah, you can be heard now, Pippa. If you have anything to say. If you have nothing to say, that's also okay, no pressure.
In this moment, I can say the possessiveness belongs to no one.
No one. Yeah, just happening. Like I remember Tony Parsons once saying, and just really like blew my mind when I was younger, that I used to go to listen to him in London, and he said, you know, it's like the whole world is angry, the whole world is possessive, it's happening everywhere. Like possession is everywhere. Like waking up, in a way, this energetic shift, is everything becoming more intense? Because that possessiveness no longer belongs to a body, it no longer belongs to a story, it no longer belongs in time. It's a reaction happening in this, and it's mysterious. Like, yeah, we can go into stories and name it, but it's a mysterious happening. And the trees are possessive. Like when I see Khaleesi being possessive of me, predominantly that's what she's possessive of, because I give her chicken and she's wanting all the chicken in the whole entire universe. But when she's being possessive, I can see it in her. Everything is possessive. It's like so intense. Everything is that. She doesn't know that she's a dog with pointy ears and a curly tail and black fur that's possessive. She doesn't feel guilty for being possessive. She doesn't feel like she's bad inherently, or that she shouldn't be that. There is just it happening. Possessiveness. Immediately. Right here. Intensely. For nobody. Yes, we can then go and look at the stories, around it, and that might dislodge some of the stuck energy, because as humans we get things stuck in our bodies. Dogs do to an extent as well, but because they don't have thinking, I feel like their energy gets less stuck. But because we got thinking and we live for so many years, we have these ingrained responses, so we can unlodge it through digesting and dissecting what's happened in the past and connections. But in the end, it's like an absolute surrender to what's ever happening for no one. Possessiveness is everything. There's no one with possessiveness. So I also really like this time when Tony Parsons was speaking about it, and he said, for some reason somebody was asking him about anger. Do you ever get anger anymore, or something like this? And he said, of course. And like he was giving different examples, and one of the examples he gave was somebody else getting angry in his presence. And I thought that was so beautiful and so loving, because it's like seeing also, if something else is angry or possessive, that is also you, because it's appearing in experiencing, and who you truly are is experiencing. I left your volume on, by the way, so you can, it stopped echoing, so you can speak freely if you feel to.
Thank you. I feel such a dissolving.
Nice. Yeah, the freedom really is in experiencing, not out of experiencing. What the mind likes to say is it is out of having certain experiences. And so it's always trying to jump out of itself. It's really surrender. Like in another way, it's like giving up all will of what you want. The body has wants, but it's like this other part of you that has desires of what you want to be. That person that wants to be something. I'm not saying that there's not wants like having food and having nice relationships, but I mean like this surrendering on another level. Like nothing matters but what's happening. And what we're taught from society and from other people is the only thing that matters is time and what you get from time or don't get from time. But it's the other way around. The only thing that really matters is timelessness. That's the most important.
I love you, Lisa. Thank you.
Oh, I love you, Pippa. Thank you. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, lots of love to you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.